As its economy charts a shaky path handled by the IMF, Pakistan is seeing a solar revolution that is being sponsored by cheap Chinese equipment imports. And this growth in green energy is majorly driven by consumers who were forced to look for an alternative source after electricity tariffs in the country continued to climb. Now, this largely unorganized growth of solar energy is also becoming a headache for the government, which is feeling the pinch clearing bills of conventional power producers despite their declining demand. But how did the solar growth happen? Hello and welcome to The Print. My name is Debdutta and in Go to Pakistan today we discuss Pakistan's unprecedented solar growth. Pakistan is now the world's leading solar importer. The transformation is so sweeping that solar panels are now part of wedding dowries. In 2024 alone, Pakistan imported 17 gigawatts of solar panels, which was more than double of the previous year. Chinese manufacturers like Jinko Solar, Trina Solar, and Longi dominate Pakistan's solar panel supply and account for more than 95% of imports. According to Waqas Musa, who is the head of Pakistan Solar Association and the CEO of Hadron Solar, there was already an underlying acceptability for solars. He told ThePrint that people were used to finding creative solutions, be it in agriculture, in rural areas, in cities, to deal with the massive load shedding that occurs in Pakistan. Now the situation is that even in less affluent regions like Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, South Punjab and interior Sindh, adoption of solar panels is strong due to unreliable grids. In some dowries, families now include a 3 kilowatt solar system, which is a sign of how mainstream and accessible solar has become. If you go by data, in the first 4 months of 2025, solar farms supplied 25.3% of the country's grid electricity, placing Pakistan among just 17 countries worldwide to have achieved a monthly solar share of 25% or more. This exclusive club is mostly made up of wealthier European nations, with only Pakistan representing the global south. Now, despite its lower GDP per capita, Pakistan has rapidly expanded solar use and it is driven by a five-fold increase in imports of Chinese solar modules since 2022. Then, a series of tailwind growth happened. Now, according to Musa, net metering regulations that were introduced around 2015 made solar more attractive to the urban middle class, giving them a way to recover investment by selling excess power to the grid. How does net metering work? Now, net metering lets users with solar panels earn bill credits for excess power that they send to the grid so that they only pay for the net electricity that they consume. Currently, the Pakistan government purchases solar generated electricity from domestic, commercial and industrial producers at a rate of 27 rupees per kilowatt hour. Now, installation costs are typically recovered in 2 to 5 years. What happened was, around the same time that the solar boom occurred, the State Bank of Pakistan introduced a subsidized financing scheme which offered low interest loans for solar panels at just 6% compared to the prevailing commercial rates of 13 to 14%. That suddenly made solar so affordable for a much wider segment of the population. Meanwhile, electricity tariffs continued to climb, and because many of Pakistan's long-term energy contracts with private producers are denominated in US dollars, the devaluation of the Pakistani rupee in 2022 pushed electricity tariffs sharply higher. Households faced rising bills just as imported solar equipment became more expensive. Then, in 2023 and 2024, came the final catalyst: a crash in global panel prices driven by an excess of Chinese supply. That crash dramatically lowered the cost of going solar in Pakistan, even with the rupee still being under pressure. According to Musa, everything just aligned. He said the demand was there, financing was there, net metering was there, and when panel prices collapsed, growth just mushroomed. That is really Pakistan's story. A few trends were already building, but around 2023 and 2024, everything came together. The whole industry moved up a notch. Now, what makes Pakistan's solar growth so unique, according to experts, is that it wasn't led by government or massive utility projects. it was led by retail consumers, those who were homeowners, agriculture, farmers, or industrial level, who were seeking alternatives to unreliable and the expensive grid power. Musa said that over 90% of installations in Pakistan are at the household, agricultural, or industrial level, which is like a bottom of revolution. It is almost like a shift that most in South Asia saw when telecom shifted from landlines to mobile. But Pakistan's solar shift has been driven by both necessity and opportunity. Chronic power outages and a faltering national grid have long plagued the country, and at this point, power tariffs have soared more than 150% since 2021. What happens is, today around 30% of solar panels serve agriculture, which is mostly powering tube wells, while another 25 to 30% is installed in urban areas with net metering. 30% supports industrial use, while the remainder consists of small off-grid setups in rural homes and businesses. This solar boom is also creating new job opportunity and demand for skilled workers. According to Hania Assad, who is an energy analyst at US-based Institute for Energy Economics and Financial Analysis, while local manufacturing is still limited, most panels and parts do come from China, but there is a potential for Pakistan to build its own industry if it can compete on cost. She told ThePrint that for now, Chinese import do remain the fastest and the cheapest way to meet demand. The very success of Pakistan's grassroots solar revolution is now giving rise to new challenges, particularly for the country's debt-ridden and state-owned utilities. Here's what the problem is. Hania told ThePrint that the rapid and unregulated growth of solar energy in Pakistan is starting to affect the national power grid. So as more people turn to solar, demand for electricity from large centralized power plants is failing, and the government is still locked in expensive contracts with these fossil fuel plants which require fixed capacity payments whether or not the power is used. Now this cost gets passed on to regular grid users, and that makes electricity more expensive for them. Now despite 35 gigawatt of installed capacity nationally, solar only contributes to an estimated 10 to 15% to the national grid in Pakistan at this moment. When off-grid systems are included, solar could be covering up to 25% of Pakistan's electricity needs. But this has hit the national grid hard, because power sales fell 2.8% year-on-year in June amid an $8 billion sector debt. The government, which was unprepared for this rapid transition, now faces financial strain from fixed price contracts and gas subsidies. In response, it has imposed a 10% tax on imported solar and proposed reducing payments for surplus solar energy. The government is now preparing to slash the net metering buyback tariffs from solar power from 27 rupees to 10 rupees per kilowatt per hour, which is almost a 60% cut. This will help the government align with the national base tariff and global norms. This move, which is now part of a revised solar policy, is expected within a month and could save the cash-strapped government around $15.1 billion over the next 10 years. Current buyback rates for large-scale solar plants are already much lower, and this new policy comes as Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif's administration pushes economic reforms under an IMF-supported plan. The plan includes shifting to cheaper renewable to reduce oil imports and ease energy sector debt. Still, demand for solar in Pakistan has proven to be resilient. Battery imports hit $95 million in just 3 months because users invested in storage to go off-grid and avoid feeding power into the system. Musa told ThePrint that even at 15% loan rates and without subsidies, people in Pakistan are still buying batteries. So the momentum is self-sustaining now. While the grassroots solar boom has transformed Pakistan's energy landscape, it has outpaced policy and infrastructure. There is still no comprehensive roadmap for managing this decentralized growth, and the end of the State Bank of Pakistan financing scheme, rising taxes, and lack of local manufacturing do pose real risks. But the broader lesson, according to analysts, is that when incentives, necessity, and affordability align, transformation can come from the ground up. Hania Asad told The Print that it is clear that solar has transformed access to energy in Pakistan because in many rural areas that were never connected to the grid, small homes now have solar systems that do provide affordable electricity. This has led to Pakistan's energy system being more consumer focused and independent. Whether it stays this way remains to be seen, but for now, this is Debdutta for The Print. Keep watching for more such videos.